Whoa!
This episode of Important If True is brought to you by Quip. Well-designed, convenient, and compact electric toothbrushes sent to your home with brush head refills every 3 months. And if you go to tryquip.com/thumbs, you can get $10 off your first brush head refill.
Cool.
It is cool.
Nice.
And you can get it.
Oh my God, what is it? My goodness. It's a bad time.
9/18.
September 18th, 2017. And this is September.
It's almost that. It's August 10th, 2017.
And this is Important If True.
For Idle Thumbs, I'm Chris Remo.
I'm Nick Brecken.
I'm Jake Rodkin. You got just a little bit of the monster truck in there. Just
Slide it in.
Just a little subtle monster truck.
Oh, whoa.
Thursday night. Important If True. What? Chris looks like he's going to throw up.
He is.
Oh, I am.
He is.
I just wanted to see what you would do if I kept looking at you and not saying anything.
Freeze up like a deer in the headlights is what happened.
That's true. I guess I could have probably assumed.
Yeah.
Yesterday, last night, I was able to see an early screening of the film Good Time.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was really good. It was a really good movie. It is tense as hell. It is just were you there, Nick?
No.
Oh, okay. You were nodding. I thought you.
No.
I thought you knew.
He doesn't know.
It's a crime film. It's set in New York, and it's just absolutely intense, nonstop. And Robert Pattinson is in it.
Oh, Twilight guy.
Twilight man. Yeah, and he just like wrecks it. He's great. He's really, really good in it.
Huh.
And he was at the theater with the two directors, the Safdie brothers, one of whom was also in the movie. And so they did a Q&A after it, and it was good. And I went home and I posted on Twitter that the movie was good and that I thought Robert Pattinson did a good job. And in posting those things to the internet, I learned that there is the fan community around Robert Pattinson. Holy shit.
Oh, did you get some tweets?
Oh my God. It is just, it's surreal. It's like if you mention him on the internet, it's like some kind of, it's like being in the Matrix when those like robots like seek you out and all swarm on you, you know,
those little spider guys.
Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. I mean, and it wasn't except unlike that, it wasn't malevolent, right? Like I didn't say anything bad about.
Were these people just excited that you?
Yeah, they were just excited. That was what was so
like that you had seen him.
Yeah,
or that you just mentioned his name.
Not because
obviously.
I had in particular, but I think because anyone had. No, they had no questions. There was it was just it was.
Did anyone ask how tall he is?
No. Is that a thing with him?
No, it's a thing with everyone. Like I went and saw a screening of Terminator 1, and the woman who was Linda Hamilton's stunt double in it was there because she was just local, and she was there for a Q&A at the end, and people asked a bunch of questions about sort of the stunts and working with James Cameron, blah, 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 blah. And then a guy stood up and just asked, like, how tall is Arnold Schwarzenegger? How tall is Linda Hamilton? How tall is the guy who plays Reese? How tall is... And he
I need to update my database.
He went on and on about CelebrityHeights.com and how it has relative heights and all these things.
Right.
And then... there was the episode of the Mystery Show podcast about how tall is Jake Gyllenhaal, which gets into that. Yeah. But that is just way more prevalent than I thought. It's just it's everywhere.
No, that didn't come up. These people,
pervasive.
I suspect they already know. And many of whom have Robert Pattinson as their avatar and are just really excited about anyone enjoying
Did you consider that this could literally be the Matrix situation where you're assaulted by a bunch of crazy spider robots, but they're actually being... driven by Robert Pattinson himself. That's why they all have his face.
Yeah, I would actually
if he can just press a button that just deploys this crazy swarm.
I would actually totally believe that based on his presence in the Q&A, because he is the most seemingly like awkward and fidgety and distracted person. He was on. I mean,
that's because he was busy deploying millions and millions of
that's what I
weird
mean.
bots.
Yeah. You asked how tall he was, and the answer is I have no idea because he spent the whole time like slumped down in his chair on the stage and like sort of contorting his body and fiddling around. Like he was very surprising from someone who's like a movie star, right?
That's fine. I mean, I slump and slide around and I'm weird, and I'm not even a movie star.
That's true. I probably do too. But I am a movie star.
Wow.
Yep.
I would have never known.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's why whenever I talk to you on Twitter, I'm swarmed by a bunch of girls with your face.
Yeah, it's true. No, but I would totally believe that he has to like dedicate extra cycles to controlling his like botnet. I can't imagine any other circumstance in which it wouldn't be accompanied by just horrible abuse and garbage.
Right.
But it was just a like very pleased like aura.
Yeah.
Right.
Just yes. Mm-hmm. You too know that he is wonderful.
Yep. I think though that we should talk about someone else who is deploying swarms of millions of things.
Yes. The headline here that we were sent reads, "Tech giant releasing 20 million mosquitoes in Fresno. That's a good thing, really." And then it says, a giant technology company will release up to 20 million bacteria-filled buzzing mosquitoes this summer in Fresno, California. That's supposed to be a good thing. The bug campaign, which starts Friday, is part of a plan by Alphabet Incorporated's Verily Life Sciences unit. Reared by machines, the male mosquitoes are infected with the bacteria that, while harmless to humans, creates non-hatching dead eggs when they mate with wild females, hopefully cutting the mosquito population and the transmission of the diseases they carry. Verily is planning to release 1 million mosquitoes a week over a 20-week period across 2 300-acre neighborhoods. The company's bug-releasing van will start traveling the streets of Fancher Creek, a neighborhood in Fresno County, on Friday. And then here is a quote from here's a quote. "If we can show that this technique can work, I'm confident we can make it a sustainable business because the burden of these mosquitoes is enormous," said Verily engineering chief Linus Upson, who helped create Google's Chrome web browser and now leads Debug.
So, in regards to that quote, what do you think he actually meant?
I don't know what either half of his thing meant.
We hope this could become a sustainable business, parentheses, what are you doing? Because the burden of these mosquitoes is enormous. Parentheses, do you literally mean that your Google company can no longer keep millions of mosquitoes? So you hope that some other company will be like, believe that this is successful and will take over?
Look, we've got like 40 million mosquitoes are sitting around. Like, the burden is enormous.
We were able to dump 20 million out of our van in Fresno.
We desperately need this to become a sustainable business model because we gotta unload.
That's like the TV commercial. We gotta get rid of these mosquitoes. They cure disease. They might do other things.
Come on down.
What is the tech company in question? Alphabet Incorporated. Google.
Yeah, Google. They don't say in this. The word Google is not cited in this, except for when they say, "Oh, by the way, this guy helped create Google Chrome," which, by the way, amazing qualification for being man in charge of releasing 20 million mosquitoes into Fresno. Oh, he made Chrome. Yeah. He made the web browser.
Yeah,
he seems smart.
Okay, well,
he's smart.
He seems like a good kid.
Guy.
He's a good kid.
The mosquito deploying program. What's the name of this company?
Verily.
Yeah, Verily.
I love the name.
Yeah.
I hope they say, "Verily, we release these mosquitoes," as they release 20 million mosquitoes.
Yeah,
Verily, we destroy the earth.
There's a Catholic priest who presides over the dissemination of these bees.
So Verily was originally part of Google X, which is also the people who...
that's the robot company.
No, that's not the robots.
Oh, damn.
Good.
What?
It is Google Glass and Waymo, the self-driving cars.
Waymo?
That's the name of their self-driving car company now.
All right.
Hopefully their mascot is also named Waymo, the self-driving car. But
it's a little car that drives the car.
This whole thing with mosquitoes being deployed...
Wait a second. Hold on. Sorry, just to go back to what you just said.
Yes.
Months ago, we talked about self-driving cars that are not in fact self-driving, but are driven by insects. This was spun off. So the mosquito dispersal team was spun off.
I see.
Out of the team that does self-driving cars.
I think that they were.
Well,
maybe Google had mosquito-driven self-driving cars.
They moved on to a new version, and now they got all these mosquitoes that they don't need anymore.
Fresno, California residents woke up this morning baffled to find all of their cars stolen simultaneously overnight.
God, that's why they're sending these mosquitoes out. They're sending 20 million mosquitoes out to boost 20 million cars.
Well, I mean, we are making progress with our Waymo. We're doing it, but we just need more cars to test it out.
I thought that it was a little more capitalistic. It was like, oh, geez, your cars were all stolen. Well, we will also introduce.
Well, these mosquitoes are a pretty big burden.
It sucks.
That's all I'm saying. Really?
Lock them up.
Too bad.
Lock them up.
Too bad no one's willing to take these mosquitoes off my hand. Oh, your car's missing. Interesting.
It's protection money. So here's an interesting. Fresno has an actual very notable history of new technologies that then destroy America. Being
Fresno,
you mean
like meth.
I know. No. Fresno, California was where Bank of America in I think 1958. Sometime in the late 50s, early 60s, debuted and did the test pilot of the magnetic stripe Bank Americard. The first credit cards were given out to Bank of America customers in Fresno. Like, just use these, just slide them on all these merchants. You could just go into debt.
I see.
Buy a car. Buy 20 million of them.
I just think it's really interesting that Google is now like, what part of America has like a lot of people who spend money and do things, but we can also just dump bugs and like debt robots and whatever. Just the town of Fresno is a strange place.
It's
apparently,
just the test case for just hubris and like capitalism run amok.
Yeah. Man, I love the idea of the mosquitoes stealing all their cars, then Google just rolling in with a bunch of self-driving cars, which, I mean, secretly are also driven by mosquitoes, but they don't tell people that.
Sure, yeah.
They hate the mosquitoes that steal their cars, so they
the burden is enormous.
Yeah.
The burden that these mosquitoes put on Fresno is enormous.
The debt burden is enormous.
The tax burden is enormous.
Yeah, it's just...
I don't know that this is directly related, but I can't help but feel that there is some kind of thread to be drawn to this other news story from the Catholic News Service, which reads, a headline here is, Ottawa Archbishop surprised by negative reaction to robotic spider on cathedral. The Archbishop of Ottawa expressed regret that several Catholics were shocked at the sight of a giant robotic spider perched on Notre Dame Cathedral. Archbishop Terence Prendergast said he was surprised by the negative reaction to an artistic initiative after critics called the spider's placement sacrilegious, demonic, and disrespectful of a sacred space. My cathedral staff and I anticipated that some might object, but thought it would be minimal, as nothing demeaning was intended in the spider being near the church, said the Archbishop in an email interview with Canadian Catholic News.
Go on.
I don't know. I mean, there's no world in which it is a coincidence in which these mosquitoes were unleashed the same week that a giant robotic, that self-driving car mosquitoes were unleashed into the world the same week a giant robotic spider perched on top of a cathedral. By the way, that spider is huge. That robot spider is enormous.
Well,
Did you guys see
go after one of those cars? It's gonna have to be pretty big.
Oh man, that's true.
I mean, they're just upgrading.
So you're suggesting this is actually like these are in opposition to one another.
Well, I mean, it's Darwin says that when one species attempts to assert dominance, Chris,
when mosquitoes learn how to drive cars, the Catholic Church learns how to operate giant spider robots.
It is after all a priest who unleashed the. This is like an
This is like a crappy cyberpunk priest duel.
Yes.
One priest who I guess is like the kind of like, I don't know. One priest with his dumpy van just says, verily, I release the mosquitoes, and then sort of slams the door on this youth group van and then just drives away. And then, like, meanwhile, boop, 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 a phone blinks.
Lightning strikes, like thunder claps.
And reveals the shadow. It reveals a priest on top of a cathedral in Ottawa. And then on the second thunder, you see the huge legs of a spider loom up over the roof.
Yeah.
And then he says, I hope I'm not too late. And then he realizes he fucking is, because he got that. He was just like, I'll build the perfect spider to eat 20 million mosquitoes. But what he didn't anticipate was that they're going to be crossing the border to Canada in little like happy Google cars that go as they drive by.
They can unleash, what is it? They unleash 1 million mosquitoes at a time out of the van?
Yeah.
God, I love the idea of this like van popping around, farting out big clouds of 1 million mosquitoes each.
What a disaster. Hopefully that is an autonomous process and there isn't one fucking bummed out guy who's like, oh, verily I release thee. And just Jesus
God
Christ.
damn it. Oh, these fucking things.
It's like, oh, okay, well, I just killed 22 mosquitoes, so I'll just get my little backup jar and just, okay.
1, 2, 3. God damn it.
Ugh, 1 million I released, verily I released thee. Amen. Fuck.
God, what is the religious purpose of that ritual? Especially the exact million. I mean, I guess.
Well, what you don't know is that those mosquitoes carry the blood of Christ.
That's true. Jesus, wow.
Well, they're blessed. I don't know. Does that transubstantiation? Doesn't that work? Can you transubstantiate blood into the blood of Christ, or does it only work on wine?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good
I'm
question.
Protestant. I was raised Protestant. We didn't have that one.
I was raised Catholic, but that never really
Why
came
the
up.
hell didn't you ask the important questions?
I don't know, actually. I'm shocked that I never did.
Which
Aren't
liquids?
you Catholic, Nick?
I mean, I wasn't really raised.
Which liquids can be transubstantiated into the blood of Jesus Christ by being blessed? If you know this, which I'm sure you do and are really mad at me right now, please write in to whatever it is, questions at importantiftrue.com.
God, imagine if the blessed mosquitoes containing the blood of Christ ended up trapped in amber and then fast forwarded into the
Jurassic Park got real fucked up where they're like, okay, we got a Stegosaurus, we got a T-Rex, we bred raptors. What is this mosquito? And then just like, verily, I release thee.
Oh, is that the voice of the priest coming out of
No, that's just Jesus Christ springs fully formed from a dinosaur egg.
Yeah, no.
And just blesses everyone.
With some like other DNA slapped in
Oh,
there.
God, they
to
put the
complete
frog DNA in there?
Yeah,
Oh, no, God, this is getting bad.
It's fine.
Oh, my God.
What? He says, life finds a way, I am risen, and then he's out. Then he says, thanks, Alphabet Company, and he's
Verily,
wearing Google
I
Glass.
release me. Peace out.
And then
This is the most objectionable podcast we've probably released in a while.
the idea of... this is the last thing I'll say about this stupid chain of events, which is... mosquito with blood of Christ trapped in amber. Jesus Christ brought back by Jurassic Park scientists accuses them of playing God, and
I should know.
And I should know. And then he ascends. Then he's gone.
Man destroys God. Man creates mosquitoes, etc.
Mosquitoes birth God.
Yeah.
That's probably why that priest put that spider on that church.
Yeah, he did it in the wrong place. That's why they were so confused. They're in Ottawa. That's what they were like. That's what all the Catholics were upset about. They're like, why didn't you fucking put it in Fresno where the other guy is putting the fucking mosquitoes?
I do understand being weirded out by going to your church and seeing that. Well, your archbishop, is that who it is?
Yeah.
But your archbishop has just decided to hang a gigantic robotic spider off of it.
I
Like,
think
it's understandable.
Okay, you know what?
Archbishop John Peters.
What? Who's that?
He's the producer of Wild Wild West who loves giant mechanical robot spiders.
Oh, because he watched that Kevin Smith DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
That's too bad.
It occurs to me that his surprise at the objection of some of his parishioners is surely actually feigned, and he is basically just fucking like he's Dr. Octopus or something, right? I mean, he's like, oh, I'm so shocked this was objectionable to you, but he is the other one. He's the other priest.
Which of these guys is a
duel.
good guy and which is a bad guy, or is this like just a
I don't
classic
know.
Wizards duel situation where they could just be two evil guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think whoever wins, we lose. I think it's a classic kind of situation like that. Yeah.
Either a bunch of mosquitoes are everywhere, or a giant spider is around,
perching on churches and stuff.
And just like being kind
Church
of being
perching,
fucking glowering all over the place.
Yeah.
Just looming. I mean,
I'll take the spider.
I really like.
Really?
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, a
Over
big
the
lumen
mosquitoes?
spider. Well, these mosquitoes though, their job is ostensibly to kill other mosquitoes.
Well, and to eventually resurrect the Lord.
Here's how the mosquitoes could take out the spider.
Yeah.
Remember the thing last week about CRISPR gene encoding shit into DNA with CRISPR?
Oh, okay. So are they going to be like, are they going to Jeff Goldblum Independence Day that spider?
Exactly. What if Jeff Goldblum takes his like MacBook or whatever, his
it was a PowerBook,
and uploads a GIF virus into these mosquitoes, and then they infect the spider?
Well, that's a little bit not convoluted enough for my tastes. I'm pretty sure that what will have to happen is we will all have to be injected with CRISPR DNA that plants memes.
You're right.
So, first off, the city of Fresno has been secretly injected in their sleep for months with memes, with CRISPR GIF memes, and now this priest has deployed millions of mosquitoes.
I am entirely betting on the mosquitoes at this point. Now that I remember that they can transmit CRISPR GIF memes via blood transfusion.
This is also the stupidest Jurassic Park, when they pull the blood out of the mosquito that has ingested a GIF meme and then put it up on their screen, and then it says, you didn't say the magic word, but then it cuts to film from Jurassic Park because it's actually just a meme of that movie.
God.
And then they all just probably kill themselves.
Yeah. Wait, where were you? You didn't ever finish where you were going before with the overall convoluted plot.
Oh, well, it's just, first you inject the memes into the blood of Fresno citizens.
Yeah.
My dad grew up in Fresno, so I might be carrying this meme blood.
Shit. Yeah.
I don't have a credit card, though, so maybe I'm immune. Maybe that means I haven't built up a tolerance and I'm just like drenched in memes. But as a descendant of the Fresno experiment.
Sure. By the way...
Oh, just...
Hold on a sec. Hold on. You saying that makes me remember there was an image caption on this article linking to an unrelated article that says, Men's Health has reported that Google is searching for 10,000 people to serve as lab rats. So...
What? What does that mean?
They want to do a huge 5-year study on people.
Oh, I thought it was mosquito related.
People?
No, it's a separate... Well, I mean, this is what I'm saying. It is ostensibly unrelated.
We need people for the trolley dilemma.
Oh, God. We're training our self-driving cars.
It needs accurate test subjects to build up its deep mind learning
that's
algorithms.
Dark.
Right before they die, we extract their memories with a mosquito.
So, anyway, you may, as a descendant of the Fresno experiment, be susceptible to memes, whatever. Continue with the actual plot.
Oh, it's very simple. First, you inject them full of memes. Then you deploy mosquitoes into their homes to extract the memes in a good, nice, in the correct form, which is inside of the mosquito.
Mm-hmm.
Then you send the swarm to Canada. That's tough. I don't know how you send a swarm of mosquitoes to Canada. Maybe first they just call the spider out so that it comes to them.
How long do mosquitoes live? I don't know what that was about.
It's a long and torturous death, Chris.
How long does a mosquito live?
I don't know.
Not long.
Really?
Can a mosquito make
days?
it to Canada?
Yeah, I think how fast can they fly then is the other question.
How fast is their reproductive cycle?
That's what I don't like about this whole thing, by the way.
What do you mean?
These mosquitoes, I think, carry death. Specifically, they carry mosquito death. But how fast is the reproductive cycle? And would their blood contain these memes? And would they spread the memes? Would memes do what memes do? Would life find a way?
Yeah, that's what. So
on their way to Canada, would life find a way to Canada to fight a giant spider robot unleashed by a priest and a French art group?
What I mean with their life cycle is could they? If they're really dedicated to fighting the good fight and getting to Ottawa to defeat the giant spider, could they reproduce on the way to replenish their dying selves? Could a cloud of mosquitoes have a bunch of mosquito sex in the air on the way?
I don't think they can mid-air refuel like that. I think they need to stop in some stagnant water and be fucking gross for a while. But I think that's just going to kill them.
Yeah, they die.
Why?
Because Google planted them full of a disease to kill them.
Yeah.
That's why they were released.
Oh, fuck.
They can't breed in captivity. So
that said, a male mosquito lives 10 days and a female lives 42 to 56 days.
Their speed is only 1.5 miles an hour, so they're not going to fucking make it. They're dead.
They're only 1.5 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Okay, we forgot that they are also trained to drive self-driving cars, so we're fine.
Oh, that's true.
As long as they can get over the border, as long as they can...
It's a road movie.
So as long as these mosquitoes can be
God, how many of them do you think you could pack into one car? It would just look like...
it just look like a solid black
all the
mass.
windows are tinted. Yeah, it would just look...
It's just humming really loudly.
Do mosquitoes hum?
I mean, they go...
buzz.
They go yeah. But they wouldn't really be doing that in the car because that's what...
yeah, they would.
Around.
Chris...
What?
What are you talking about? We're talking about Google X sponsored robotics projects that autonomously move. It would definitely go as it drove down the road.
That's true.
It would 100%.
But what if it was like, that's true. But what if it was like the way a hybrid car is like eerily quiet when it's going slow, and
legally it has to sound like it's full of bees,
and the mosquitoes are just completely motionless because they don't have to fly because they're driving a car.
Oh, yeah, they're just grossly crawling around.
Grossly silent, totally silent car full of totally silent mosquitoes just rolls up to you at the stoplight.
Imagine that going through border control. It just sort of, you just hear.
Do you have anything to declare?
It's just like, little parts, just sort of, just little light bits of mosquito crunching. And then the person behind them honks their horn, which agitates all the mosquitoes suddenly, so the car just goes.
Yeah.
And
it turns into a transformer?
No.
Oh, I thought that was just like a sports car.
No, that's just all of the mosquitoes getting really agitated, and then it peels out.
Yeah.
Oh, what if this ends in classic car chase fashion with the mosquitoes busting through the Canadian border in a stolen Waymo autonomous car, which is like that little smiley tiny car like the size of a smart car, being followed by Fresno police, California Highway Patrol, the FBI, the Royal Mounted Police of Canada.
Just Blues Brothers.
Yeah, if it just but then the end of it,
we're on a mission from God.
Then we
to find this giant spider.
Yeah, no.
Verily.
Yeah.
Verily, we're on a mission from God. But then it definitely ends in a way that makes that Wild Wild West executive producer the happiest he could possibly be.
Right.
Because it's a weird robot car versus a huge mechanical spider in a thunderstorm outside of a church. Like, that's going to be good.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good movie.
horror.
Yeah, I'll see that.
Yeah,
I'm glad that Google pitched that movie.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're currently execute. What do you mean? I pitched. Are you glad that it's happening?
I'm glad that it will one day be licensed and turned into a film that I can watch.
Yeah, someone, the Wired, will write an article about it, and that article will get optioned.
Maybe people will license this podcast episode, Chris.
Feel free. We're here. biz@idlethumbs.net. You want to take a break?
Yeah.
This episode of Important If True is brought to you by Quip. Well-designed, compact electric toothbrushes that are sent to your home with brush head refills every 3 months. So your electric toothbrush brush head is always properly flayed and splayed the way a new brush head should be.
That does not sound appealing. I mean, I know that it is. It's one of those things where you have to just sort of know intellectually that it's good, even as everything that's wholesome about you rejects it.
Right. So I'm sorry. What I should say is that the brush head on the macro level looks tidy and perfect and clean.
But it's full
of
on the tiny, gross hairs.
It is micro-frayed to scrape the plaque off your teeth in the most effective way.
It's full of
look it up.
A ton of little wriggling hairs that wipe against your teeth.
That's how it works.
Until eventually they break off and you eat them.
Your teeth?
No, the little wiggly hairs.
Oh, what?
I mean,
none of the things Jake is saying are true.
They do. No, they do.
That is true.
Oh my God, that's why you got to get them replaced.
Okay.
Come on.
They'll replace it for you every 3 months. You don't have to worry about whatever weird shit Jake is talking about.
It's real.
If you go to tryquip.com/thumbs, you can get $10 off your first brush head refill. Which will allow you to avert the bizarre disaster Jake apparently is.
No, the disaster is inevitable. Yeah. The hairs eventually wear off, and then the brush becomes silky smooth.
It's not inevitable because you go to tryquip.com/thumbs and get $10 off your brush head refill.
That's true. Get new brush heads before you end up swallowing all the tiny hairs full of plaque. Look, Chris, there's like a brush head here, but then it's like flayed and it's wriggly.
Tryquip.com/thumbs.
Oh my God, we've talked about this before on the podcast, just with less gross words. Oh man, my phone auto-corrected, I think it was like to be. It auto-corrected it to be, and I was...
What?
I was shocked.
What?
I just kind of looked at it and went, huh, and then erased it and then continued to type my sentence. I was just...
Wow.
I was in like the prologue.
You were...
you were...
I was in the little montage at the beginning of that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. That's all. Then the rest of my day was just it was a normal phone.
Yeah, sure it was. Self-hoisting AI, unprestigious award. How did Clifford get big? Putting your phone in rice. Amazon warehouse mishap.
God,
Remix
Jeopardy.
of the future.
Rejected Jeopardy categories.
Big Moon.
What? I'll take Big Moon for 100, please. What?
Putting your phone in rice is the Daily Double.
Self-hoisting AIs.
Dumb show.
Celebrity explainers.
Yeah, that's when they video record the celebrities to come out and explain things.
Right, yeah. Genie time.
I'll take Genie time for 500. This was not a movie starring with a genie.
God, Jeopardy of the internet.
God, that being the final
so
Jeopardy
terrible.
question was, this genie movie does not exist.
Yeah.
Everyone would get it wrong.
One guy would get it right and be really happy.
And then he
with
would
it.
become a bad GIF. He would become the celebrity explainer next week, but it would just zoom in with him like doing a wacky dance before his footage showed up.
God, now I'm just imagining Jeopardy of the internet. Could you imagine a game show? I mean, by the time we're like middle-aged, it's going to be totally feasible.
It'll be on like VH1.
Of course, that's like 10 years from now at the most.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not going to take that long until there will be possible for there to be a network. Not that network television is going to exist by that point, but a major television,
a major
program,
Twitch channel program.
right? Exactly, major Amazon Twitch program.
Yeah.
In which like weird, specific, just detritus of the internet, detritus, I guess.
Yeah.
Is
debts.
Like, weird debts of the internet.
Those net debts.
Those net debts are the actual are just like. And it's at that point it's going to be sort of history. It's like archaeology.
Right. Albino black sheep.
Oh my God, weird. What? Yeah. Newgrounds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We could very easily create this as a Twitch Plays Jeopardy.
What?
Make chat vote on the category that gets picked, and then have 3 streamers that you just green screen behind desks.
Oh.
And then have Dr. Sbaitso as Alex Trebek.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. God, imagine having to assemble all those questions, though. Holy shit.
Yeah. But imagine the rage and insanity that happens when it's like it's time for a category, and then you don't get the pick because Twitch chat just erupts.
Right. Yeah.
Until like the volume meter has filled up, and it's time for whatever the fuck that the TV opens up.
Yeah.
Anyway, we could make that, Chris.
Internet,
That would be so fucking popular.
Internet Jeopardy?
Yeah.
Internet Jeopardy powered by Twitch?
Yeah, it sort of
Jesus
goes without
Jesus
saying. But what
Christ.
we're describing would be incredibly popular.
Yeah.
Anyway, Big Moon.
Big Moon.
You want to start off with Big Moon? Let's just go Big Moon.
All right, Big Moon.
Go Big Moon or go home.
Big Moon!
All right, we're back. It's time for Big Moon.
Big Moon time.
Big Moon. Michael writes, "Hey Thumbs, a few months ago I was driving.
Big Moon! I love Big Moon growing up.
You're essentially describing the mood of this email. So Michael writes, a few months ago I was driving with my mom at night when we suddenly noticed how huge the moon looked. It seemed impossibly big, bigger than I'd ever seen before, but clearly recognizable as the moon. We wondered what weird astronomical event would cause the moon to look this way. It was soon obscured by trees.
And a huge robotic spider.
When we got home a few minutes later and got out of the car, we saw the moon, but it looked perfectly normal. In retrospect, there's no way the moon could have been as big as what we saw on the road. I can't tell you how bizarre an experience it was. I have no rational explanation, and that makes it unsettling to think back on. Can you explain what we saw and help rationalize this in my mind? Or is it just aliens? Thanks, Michael."
The windshield of my mom's car is a giant Fresnel lens.
That was way too technical.
It's one of those flat lenses.
I don't know. I mean,
you know, like on the back of the school bus, how there's the weird part of the back that's kind of like a warped, weird zoom in, like magnifier.
Yeah,
could be that.
That's true.
What if that mosquito car had that? It would be fucking gross.
Oh, gross.
They'd be huge.
Oh, gross.
I saw a car full of huge mosquitoes, but when they came out and attacked me and filled me with memes, they were regular-sized mosquitoes. Anyway, let's talk about Big Moon. Sorry, I was back on the mosquitoes.
The reason I was interested in this email is because I had this exact same goddamn experience in London.
Oh, it's just Big Moon. You saw Big Moon, Chris. We have Moon and Big Moon.
The Big Moon Club.
I got out of the train at St. Pancras, King's Cross St. Pancras, and I walked out, and it was my first moment on that trip in the city. And it was the middle of the day. It was like, I don't know, 3 p.m. or something.
Where was the moon in the sky?
In this,
like, was it high or low?
Oh, it was pretty low, I guess.
Okay, because I mean, like, Big Moon, which is Earth's little-known second moon, really only sort of like pops up on the horizon occasionally. So that must have been what you saw.
Yeah. But it was huge.
Was it bright?
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was.
Did you like violently sneeze?
It looked like no. God, I wish.
It would have been
nothing better than a
sneeze.
Big Moon sneeze.
It seriously felt like I was inside of a 1970s science fiction novel cover.
Yeah.
It was like this huge moon, right, just huge. And I was like trying to point out to people. I was like, "Are you seeing this shit?"
Really?
Yeah.
Did they see it?
Or
were they saying, or you know what I mean? Like, were they like, what is this crazy man talking about?
Not
Big
believe
moon?
you?
I only see small moon.
Yeah, or did they just say, "Oh, that's just Big Moon"? And then
they didn't. They were not like Meg Janth was there. And
she didn't see Big Moon.
No, I mean, I don't know if anyone saw it or not, but no one cared that I.
Only some humans can see the Big Moon. Most of them are Londoners. It's true, but you were there with some guests, so you must just
Well, she's a Londoner, but it was like it was it was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
I believe you, Chris.
It was thank you, Nick. It was amazing. And then hours later, fuck off. And then hours later, I just we went into Sean was there as well.
What did Sean say about Big Moon?
I don't think he cared either. And we went into a restaurant and we had food and drinks, and then we came out again, and it was normal. It was just unremarkable, normal fucking moon.
Okay, so.
This is just atmospheric distortion.
I think it's important for me to note right now that
we know what's going on here.
There is something called a harvest moon that's a real occurrence.
Okay.
That is when the moon is on the horizon and there's atmospheric distortion. Yeah, the moon can appear to be larger.
Well, that's it. That's Big Moon.
Yes.
Oh, so it's real.
But if they didn't see it, then I'm led to believe that maybe
you might have seen the second moon. No, it is. The reason I said the stupid thing about the windshield is because it is just sort of like when it sort of slides near the edge of your perception of the atmosphere, it distorts.
Yeah.
I never knew.
Classic
that.
Big Moon situation.
I feel like that was my first Big Moon experience.
You got Big Moon.
Yeah. So, and it was like, it had that bluish tint, which is one of the things that made it.
That's a classic Big Moon.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the things that made it look like a sci-fi
moon.
cover, is that it had this like otherworldly like blue tint over it. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is amazing.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I tried to take
better.
a picture, but like phones are awful for taking pictures of
Big
anything
moons.
in the atmosphere really at all.
Yeah.
Because of they can't get enough contrast. But man, yeah, I was pleased to be
I'm really
in
glad
the
that
presence
you saw
of Big Moon.
a Big Moon.
Yeah. Well, now I know. The answer is so...
yeah. I think we finally answered a real question
yeah.
on this podcast.
Wow.
We just need to set the bar lower, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, how does the world work? Why is the sky blue?
Ask us questions that could be easily answered by searching on the internet.
I saw the sky was blue. I said it was blue. Nobody was paying attention to me. It was crazy.
Well, now I know.
No, but it's a big moon.
I don't think that's specifically a harvest moon thing, but
well, maybe I'm full of shit then.
No, I mean, I think that you're right that it happens at that time, but I think it is also just when it's kind of around the horizon.
Yeah.
It's just when it's down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so being low in the sky was part of it, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I just looked up why is the moon big on the horizon, and I was given a definitive image of this is a big moon sighting for sure.
Oh shit! Look at that big
moon.
Look
at that big moon. That's like
Whoa.
a big moon.
Wow.
So that's what big moon looks like. That guy saw it. His telescope was pointed up at regular moon.
Meanwhile, crept up
he
on him.
He didn't see it.
Big moon. Yeah, he didn't. He didn't see it until it was too late.
Yeah. The spider does not, in fact, like become illuminated by Big Moon. The spider creeps up from behind Big Moon.
Oh my god!
The spider crawls up and over Big Moon,
and then it leaps down onto Earth,
onto the horizon.
Well, Big Moon's only like 5 feet away from Earth.
Yeah, well, that's why it's so big.
Yeah,
I mean, it's actually a normal-sized moon. It's just
here.
Like, it's actually smaller than the regular moon, but it's like 5 feet away.
The size of a house.
So
has anyone seen this huge moon? No one saw the moon. Anyway, huge spider climbed behind it.
God, big as a house. I remember when I was a kid, I asked my mom, I was like, "How big is the sun? Is the sun big?" And she's like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Is it as big as a house?" And she was like, "What do you think?" And I was like,
your mom is Dr. Sbaitso.
Your mom is Dr. Sbaitso. What is this? Yeah, your mom, Eliza.
She never actually answered me.
Did you figure it out for yourself?
Well, I was like, it must be as big as a house. And she's like, well, what do you think? And I said, I think it's bigger than a house. And she said, do you? And I think she maybe thought that I should have known that, which I probably should have, but I was a little kid, so I don't know. But she never actually conclusively answered me. And that's why I don't know how big the sun is and why I'm confused by a big moon. The end.
So I just asked my friend,
Dr.
Sbaitso.
Dr.
I just called up Dr.
Okay.
Sbaitso on the phone.
Yeah.
And here's his response.
You phoned
to your...
Find it out yourself.
Find it out yourself.
Find it out yourself, says.
Fuck you, Sbaitso. God. What did you ask him specifically?
How big is the sun?
Seriously?
Yeah. So, I mean, you did. It was good advice.
Yeah. Wow.
Find it out yourself.
That is your mom. That's your mom's voice.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
Weird. Yeah.
That's actually my my ringtone on my phone.
Find it out yourself. Find it out yourself. So we talked about Dr. Sbaitso a couple episodes ago, I think. I think we talked about Nick using Dr. Sbaitso to drive one of his coworkers insane.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it led me to think about Dr. Sbaitso too much.
Okay.
Specifically, I started thinking, I inadvertently at one point thought of him in my mind as Mr. Sbaitso. And then
It's very disrespectful, Jake.
Yeah.
well, then I wondered if Mr. Sbaitso is a different character. Like maybe Mr. Sbaitso. Mr.
Oh,
Sbaitso.
you got Dr. and Mr. Sbaitso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Sbaitso is either Mr. Sbaitso in my mind at first was Dr. Sbaitso's son, who is just like maybe just like a normal nice guy. Like instead of
Right.
like
My dad is Dr. Sbaitso. Call me Mr.
call me Mr.
Sbaitso.
Sbaitso. Call me Mr. Sbaitso.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Sbaitso was like, an old chatbot designed to try to let you work out your own problems by answering every question with a question. But if Mr. Sbaitso is just like, I don't fucking know, whatever. It's like,
He's equally, yeah.
I mean, but then he's just like, how's it going?
Sure.
I had a good day. I bet you had a good day. Like he's
Right.
just, whatever. He's just sort of
God, Mr. Sbaitso is the guy who runs the Google email responses then.
yeah, it's Mr. Sbaitso. He's just
That's
like,
just Mr. Sbaitso.
Sounds
That's
funny.
funny.
Like, awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
It's great.
What do you think?
Or the other alternative is that Mr. Sbaitso is in fact a Dr. Sbaitso without a medical degree. Mr. Sbaitso, instead of
Right.
Mr. Sbaitso being the Google email suggested answers, he is the boxed answer that Google gives you when you ask it a question that is totally wrong and is just the first thing it found from the internet, where you're like, what do I do if I think I have this disease? They're like, well, the first thing you should do is a tourniquet, because it found that from instructions on how to tie a tourniquet that's like, absolutely do not do this, but it clears that part out.
Right.
So that's,
Just like, I found relevant response.
I thought
Yeah.
you were saying that Dr. Sbaitso, because he's such a bad doctor, that he was removed from the medical board.
Oh, that
and then
could be
became Mr. Sbaitso.
That could be disbarred Dr. Sbaitso. No, I
disbarred
Dr.
Sbaitso.
I thought that
Yeah.
it was more that maybe someone tried to update Dr. Sbaitso for the modern times, but the only information they had was like WikiHow, WebMD, Yahoo Answers, and like the Google autosuggest. So it's just like terrible advice. Do not listen. Where you're like, my throat hurts, and it's like, well, you are dead. Like, oh, Jesus, no, Mr. Sbaitso. Like, don't consult Mr. Sbaitso.
God, that is, by the way, true. Don't ever look on the internet for anything about your symptoms, about anything.
No, of course not. It's a disaster.
It's a nightmare. Yeah. You would in fact be better off getting a diagnosis from Dr. Sbaitso.
Because he would just be like, do some research.
Find it out yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Ask a doctor. Jesus.
What do you think? It would actually depend.
He's like, what do I sound like? Dr. Sbaitso? This is Mr. Sbaitso. I am not a doctor.
I'm a doctor of philosophy, please. It's just, I worked real hard. And it is important to me to be recognized for my academic achievement.
That was a good Sbaitso.
I'm
was a
not
pretty
a
good
medical
Sbaitso.
doctor. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, don't trust Mr. Sbaitso.
No, never trust Mr. Sbaitso.
No, don't do that.
You could chill out with Mr. Sbaitso.
Yeah.
You could have. He's the Sbaitso you want to have a beer with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do not seek medical advice.
No.
From Mr. or Dr. Sbaitso, let's be honest. I thought you were suggesting that they were... I thought that you were going to suggest they were married, mainly because Dr. and Mr. Sbaitso just sounds like an amazing... This is a very good thing to get on, like, an invitation.
That's like that stupid... Oh, man. The stupid, like, gotcha, you assumed all doctors are men joke.
Right, except one of them is a chatbot and the other one is a chatbot.
Yeah,
You assumed all doctors were real humans.
You idiot.
You idiot.
There are also autonomous mosquito clouds working in collaboration to do house calls. Here he comes, beep, beep. It's me, Mr. Sbaitso. 20 million mosquitoes working as one.
We've barely gotten the resonant. Barely, I'm here. They've barely gotten the resonant buzz of the different mosquitoes to. They can't quite formulate human speech, but it can formulate like a bad synth speech. Hello there, it is me, Dr. Sbaitso.
Jesus.
Tell me about your problems.
That is one of the most nightmarish images I think you have conjured up, which is saying something.
That's pretty.
Which is the idea of 20 million mosquitoes buzzing in unison to synthesize human speech.
Give me your credit cards. Give blood. Fresno, California. They're going to marshal the Fresno 4th of July parade this year.
Jesus Christ.
And there it is, our 20 million mosquitoes. Hello.
I asked Dr. Sbaitso if he was made of mosquitoes, and this is what Dr. Sbaitso has to say.
I will be made of mosquitoes when you stop throwing these questions at me.
I will be made of mosquitoes when you stop throwing these questions at me.
Yeah.
Don't stop throwing these questions at me.
I gotta keep asking. Oh, God.
All right. Well, we've all had some prejudices challenged on this episode, I think.
Yeah.
Some assumptions
That's
overturned.
certainly true.
Yeah. Oof.
Anyway, that's our big moon segment.
Yeah.
Darren writes, "You've spoken at length about the incoming scourge that is our future robot overlords and how potentially we may one day meld with computers in an elective or forced evolution. However, should the robot menace be quashed, what do you think the next step in natural human evolution will be? What mild superpowers could we develop to help us stay on top of the food chain? What small leap could our species undergo to make our lives easier? Personally, I would like to be selectively magnetic so I could collect loose change on the streets while walking and not have my phone fall out of my pocket while sitting on certain chairs. Thanks for all the pods, Darren in Toronto." I feel like after this episode, I feel like the thing we need is some
bug
kind
repellent.
some kind of like gene therapy, CRISPR, meme resistant inoculation serum.
You wouldn't take that.
Why not?
If someone walked up to you and said, "Look, you
wouldn't download a mosquito.
I mean, if they were like,
repellent.
Chris, you may die if you from some really.
You may die of memes.
No, if they're like, you may die from a ridiculous and very specific set of circumstances that I can't bother to explain to you because it involves CRISPR mosquitoes and a giant spider and stuff, whatever. But alternatively, I could inject you with this serum that will make you immune to the effects of memes. You wouldn't take it. You'd be like, wait, memes will mean nothing to me? Like memes will turn to ash in my mouth? No.
Oh, man.
I choose death. Like you would choose death.
Yeah.
Over like, if you see like a dog knock someone off a pier into the water and you wouldn't laugh at it, you'd be done.
Yeah, that would be brutal. I would have to go back. I could deal with it. I could deal with memes. I'm going away. I mean, it's not like internet humor in general, right? I still get like good local news mistakes, right? Those aren't memes.
I don't know. Maybe
what's a meme? Everything is a meme now.
Okay, well,
have you guys noticed that the phrase meme has just expanded to like?
Chris,
yeah, no, it's not.
It's all internet content now is memes.
Okay, maybe you wouldn't be immune to the freshest memes because they hadn't yet like hit a social engagement threshold where they were
I would
a meme.
become a meme junkie.
Yeah,
I would constantly.
You're like chasing
need a new hit.
Chasing the freshest memes because eventually you're like,
I need those dank memes.
Like that dog swatting a cupcake has been seen like millions of times as such a meme.
It does nothing for me.
It does nothing for me.
Yeah. Man, that's bleak.
But then you'd have to get injected again because you'd be carrying some other way more fucked up strain if you
only the most outrageous and imaginative memes.
You would just regress to early internet. It would be really disgusting. You would just be like Style Project. Instant.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, no, yep.
Gross.
You would just chase the grossest corners of the internet.
Ugh.
You would. I'm sorry, Chris.
Ugh.
That's what would happen if you refused that. If you took the mosquito serum, but you still needed to chase memes.
Ugh,
or alternatively, you would open and operate at a great loss the worst local news broadcast TV network in the world just to generate the original content you crave.
Yeah, just to keep myself going.
Anyone who has shamed themselves in any possible way or has no qualifications whatsoever to be on the news, you will pay them a ridiculous amount to try.
Well, this episode has been very bleak.
It was only bleak starting right now, I think. This is really...
Yeah, well... we have some follow-up from last week. We actually have 2 follow-up emails in response to things last week. So one is about an offhanded comment that I think I made first about how you can put your phone in rice to make it not be wet anymore if you've dropped it in water or coffee or something. Someone informed wrote in about this. Jesse Thamer writes, I wanted to chime in about this whole put your phone in rice when it gets wet thing. I'm a manager of a repair shop that fixes Apple products, and every day I get people who say they dropped their phone in water, but then they put it in a bag of rice for a couple days, try to turn it on, and are shocked to find it doesn't work. These phones almost always have plenty of standing water in them or corrosion all over the board. The fun extra part is how they also have bits of rice jammed in their SIM tray and charge port. There are obviously going to be cases where you get your phone wet and it would end up fine no matter what you do to it, but you also put it in rice so you believe that to be what fixed it. It's like that Simpsons episode where Lisa gives Homer a rock that keeps tigers away, saying, "You don't see any tigers around here, do you?" If you want to minimize the chance of your phone being destroyed, take it to a repair shop to get cleaned with alcohol ASAP. Most importantly, don't turn it on until it's clean. This is when corrosion forms and it gets damaged. I can understand not wanting to bring your phone somewhere if the repair shops around you seem shifty, but understand it may not stop working right away. It may stop working in a week or a month. If you have a newer water-resistant phone, maybe you want to chance it, and I guess rice can't hurt if it makes you feel better. P.S. Please use cloud services. I hate having to tell people they've permanently lost the pictures of their newborn when their phone is unrepairable. It's 2017. There's no excuse not to have a backup. Thanks for reading. Keep casting those pods. Best, Jesse Thamer. So there you go. Don't listen to our bullshit. Listen to people who know what they're talking about.
No, our podcast is called Important If True. Assume neither of those things.
It's only if true. It doesn't say and.
Right. So assume not true, therefore not important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's another follow-up from Keaton who writes, okay, so this is in response to my saga last week of being sent flower pot after flower pot. It was very ironic when all I wanted was a pineapple bookend set.
Well, all I wanted was rice for your phone.
Yeah.
Pot full of rice.
So Keaton writes, hey guys, I work at an Amazon warehouse solving these exact problems.
Yes.
I was listening to the cast on my commute when Chris told the story and I laughed uncontrollably. I work in a department dedicated to investigating broken and incorrectly delivered items. I can think of a few reasons why this happened and why it was fixed after 3 days. I can't share too much company info, but I can say our department has 3 days to resolve those issues from when they're reported to us. This sort of thing happens a lot. One notable example was an order placed for a red sweater, like something your grandmother would wear. But the item that shipped was an 18-inch dildo. Happy birthday, Nana. Keep up the good cast. Keaton.
Man, hopefully that grandma kept getting dildos. Like for 3 days, she managed to order 6 dildos before the response team was like, "Stop the dildos."
She kept placing orders for this sweater even after the sweater eventually made it to her home.
I'm sad that none of our other questions got answered, such as, did someone else receive a bunch of pineapple bookcases or bookshelves? Probably not. They probably didn't.
Probably not.
I'm really glad that the guy at Amazon whose job it was to do this.
Yeah, I know.
Was listening to our podcast. Thanks.
Amazing.
I mean,
I'm really glad that he just intentionally trolled you by sending by engineering all of this.
I'm really glad that
I was listening to the cast and I laughed uncontrollably because my plan worked.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that we recorded voices on our microphones and put them into the cloud, which is owned and operated by Amazon, and complained about an Amazon service, at which point an Amazon representative promptly responded to us through a channel that we did not list and told us the problem. Thanks, Amazon.
Thanks, tech giant.
Alexa, turn off.
All right, should we endorse?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Endorsing. I
am endorsing something that a lot of people probably are well aware of, but I had never done until just a few weeks ago. 23andMe, which is a website. It's a service will, I guess, speaking of genes and stuff, it analyzes your DNA and then gives you all sorts of information about your ancestry, and also shows you like percentage DNA overlap you have with other people who have chosen to make that information available.
Right. It shows like which memes are in your blood.
Yeah, exactly right. And I just found it pretty interesting. I mean, most of the information it gave me was not surprising to me. You know, I know that I'm, you know, mainly Italian and so on, but just a surprising thing that happened was like 2 weeks after I got my results from this, I got a message from someone who said, oh, hi, I saw you on this thing, and I think we might be related.
Yeah.
And it turns out this person is my grandmother's niece. And she remembers what my dad was like growing up, and her aunt, who is my grandmother, who's still alive. My grandmother's 101 and still alive. And I'd never heard of this person, or I never knew anything about her. And she was just a, member of my family not that far away.
Right.
Who knew other members of my direct family, and just haven't spoken in decades, not for any particular reason, but just haven't really crossed paths.
That's really cool.
And it was just we've ended up just sort of going back and forth a bit in private message, and it was a fascinating, weird thing that I never would have expected to happen. I
cool.
thought I thought I was just going to get data, basically.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had a fun time doing it. 23andMe.
Man, I spent months tracking down my family history on
Oh, yeah?
another site. It's the big one. I can't remember the
Ancestry.com?
Yeah. Which is a more sort of manual thing where you kind of have to do that work yourself.
Right.
But I also had the same experience where people were just coming out of the woodworking saying, like, I'm a Brecken in so-and-so
I'm a
place.
Brecken?
I'm a Brecken. I'm an old Brecken.
I'm a Brecken or so-and-so.
Yeah. Anyway.
Classic old-timey
Yeah.
expression.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
I'll raise my hand. My endorsement is, so I've been on a quest over the last couple of weeks to find a good pickle. The best pickle is a pickle you make yourself.
Okay.
As they say.
Classic.
As they say.
Adage.
Yeah. It's because we've made pickles before, and it really is the best way to guarantee that you're getting a good pickle. However, sometimes you just want a jar of pickles to have. I love pickles.
Yeah.
So I figured out, like, I'm gonna buy certain stupid bullshit artisanal pickles until I find the right the pickle that's got the good crunch and the garlic and just all the stuff you want. I bought finally this jar of pickles made by the brand is Bubby's Pickles.
Bubby's Pickles.
I've never tasted anything like these pickles. They're kind of crazy. They're naturally fermented in the bottle.
I don't know what that means. What is unnatural fermentation?
I don't actually know, but it's I mean, I haven't really done any research on this topic.
He just knows who this episode is brought to you by secretly.
Yeah. No, it's definitely different than a normal pickle, because when you bite into it, it's kind of like biting into like a condensed solid, like soda water, like solid or something. It just your mouth just explodes with, like, it just feels like it's tickling your tongue. It's crazy. It's really, really interesting.
More metaphors.
Listen,
what does it actually taste like?
Well, I mean, it tastes like a pickle, but sort of like just a very vibrant, fermented pickle.
God, I'm so
it's very interesting.
I gotta say, living in San Francisco, I'm like up to my ass in just like pickled stuff. Like everywhere.
You don't like pickles?
No, I do. Don't get me wrong, I love pickles. But everywhere.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah,
if you don't like pickles.
No, I love pickles. Yeah. And I love whatever is being pickled, right?
Yeah.
If it's like cauliflower, like fucking green beans or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll eat all that shit. I love it. It's great.
Pickle plate.
But that said, it has become so common in San Francisco for pickle plates to be served and to be all kinds of different pickled vegetables, which, don't get me wrong, are great.
I see what you're saying.
But
yes.
I had an experience recently where I just had a really good goddamn pickle.
Yeah.
Like an actual pickled cucumber.
Yeah.
What a pickle is.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. There's a reason this is the one that got to be called a pickle.
Right, yeah.
It's the best
It's the best version of it.
It's the best one.
It should explode your inside of your mouth. Like
You're really into that.
What I feel like is if you were dying of thirst or hunger, either one, and you were like crawling through a desert.
I don't think this is correct what you're about to say.
You're crawling through a desert, Chris.
Yeah.
And somebody if any food that you could have a genie produce for you in the oasis fall from 10 feet above. I think of any food, if it was a pickle, that's the thing that's going to just basically destroy you.
I don't think...
You don't think so?
It would destroy you. Yes, that's correct.
No, I mean, it's just...
It's so salty. Are you serious?
Oh, my God.
You're in the middle of the desert.
You need salt when you're dehydrated. It's true. You got to replenish your salts.
Can we get... Okay, so look, I didn't know what
electrolytes.
I didn't know what the big moon was. Like, shame on me.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
But can someone write in and explain why this is a terrible
Pickles
idea?
are really good.
Because I'm not sufficient. Anyway, say your actual endorsement again. Remind
Bubby's
us.
Pickles.
Bubby's Pickles.
It's actually
can you
a
get
local
them
company.
online, or can you... What do you do?
Yeah, you can get them everywhere. They're sold all over the country in certain stores. Look it up on the website or whatever. But also they sell them on Amazon.
We'll find a link. We'll put a link to it in the description of the show. Jake, what do you got?
What I would like to endorse is the Internet Archive's in-browser emulator library.
Oh.
What do they emulate?
A bunch of stuff. Well, I mean, you probably know the Internet Archive, archive.org, for like the Wayback Machine.
I walked by the building that houses the Internet Archive just the other day.
It looks like their logo. Yeah, it's a big old...
it's a big neoclassical looking building.
But in addition to having just archives of a bunch of websites and public domain music, they have a project that they've been working on for years and years and years, which is to get various emulators working inside of a web browser, I think, using weird modern HTML and JavaScript stuff. They have
emulators of what? I don't know.
You can run
games, right?
Well, there's a bunch of arcade systems. Like you can run Atari 2600 ROMs
for games.
in your browser, but also I think that they have fully running Apple II, fully running black and white original Macintosh, a fully running Commodore 64, DOS, and Windows 3.1, all running in browser. So the way that they've set up the web archive is anything that is public domain. You can, I think that the Windows and DOS ones use some derivation of DOSBox, and there's they basically have ported MAME and MES for a bunch of arcade-based stuff. They've ported these things to work in the browser, and then inside of archive.org, people upload basically either full disk images and memory states, or just the ROM data or whatever. But you can be like, I really miss using HyperCard on my Mac, and they have a version of HyperCard that hasn't been supported for decades. But you click the link, it launches the Macintosh emulator, goes boop, boots it up, and then you get a system disk, and then it mounts an ISO of just all of a full copy of HyperCard circa 1986 or something.
It's crazy.
Wow.
So and it all runs in your browser. So you can tell a little bit that it's running in a browser because it's not quite as outrageously performant as if all this stuff was dedicated, but it also doesn't entirely matter because you just have classic everything at your fingertips. If I remembered this because Darius Kazemi, who's a notable Twitter bot writer and sort of weird internet man, linked screenshots to a bunch of old weird Macintosh freeware from the mid 80s. And it was stuff that I just had not seen for years and years and years. I forgot that it even existed. It's dumb, subversive 90s comedy, Church of Subgenius bullshit. And there was a company called
Jeopardy.
There's a company called Lamprey Systems, one guy who put out a Mac program called PGP3, which is supposed to be the early internet encryption, but it stood for pretty good pornography, and it was a procedural erotica generator, but it was totally just humorous garbage. And that's on the Internet Archive, and it was a thing that I thought was hilarious in junior high when I found it on some floppy disk at a user group, or it's in some computer sale. It's that's preserved on the internet and runs in a perfect form in an emulator. Also, go play Pitfall or Sonic the Hedgehog or whatever. That's also there. It's just it's cool to see the Internet Archive archiving interactive stuff, like software operating systems, games, as opposed to just web pages and like, bootleg Grateful Dead concerts and stuff, which is, like a ton of their archive is that stuff.
Man, that's bonkers.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will link that also in the show page.
Cool.
For this episode.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on Important If True. If you have any questions, you need our help, our advice, consultation, need us to work through anything, send it to questions@importantiftrue.com. Our website is importantiftrue.com, and there you can subscribe to the show, and you can find all the places we reside on the internet. And on that site, all of our all the episodes have links to everything that has been discussed and endorsed.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend. Why
about
not?
our show.
Why not tell a friend?
Well, just tell them.
Just tell them. Tell them about it. Tell them about this show. Yeah. Do it.
Generally.
Yeah. What do I say? I forget. I forget what I say on this part of the show. If you want an ad-free version of it, you can support our Patreon at patreon.com/idlethubs.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this show. I'm losing it, clearly. It's late at night, and I don't know what I'm doing. Thank you for joining us. We may or may not be back next week. Several of us will be out of town, and we don't know if we're going to have time to record another episode before then. If we do not, we apologize, and we'll be back as soon as we can be. For however long that is, stay spicy.
It's going to be a week of spiciness. 2 weeks. A 2-week spice cycle.
I can handle it.
Okay.
One page down.
Please figure out a way to talk about Dr. Sbaitso in the middle of something else, because I think that I have stupid things that I can talk about Dr. Sbaitso. But I can't just bring up Dr. Sbaitso.
Well,
that's why I asked you to ask Dr. Sbaitso about a bunch of stuff.
I did.
Did he reply?
His responses are, he's a shitty doctor. He's really bad.
Okay, well...